I'm just completely on edge right now. I mean, completely. I've been up over 100 hours, so I'm not feeling so good. This is usually my time period where my addiction becomes a whole different animal. I'm anticipating the inevitable, which is my body's gonna make me come down. And that's hard for me, physically and mentally.
Methamphetamine addiction is a very dangerous cycle. The drug's initial high creates feelings of intense euphoria and peace, but as the cycle continues and the sleepless days and nights pile up, the addict is like a ticking time bomb. They become increasingly agitated until they snap.
I'm finished with my attitude adjustment. All right.
And welcome everybody to the Chaos Presents here in Buffalo in Western New York. We have somebody who's a best-selling author, an interventionist, a motivational speaker, and host of Addicted, which is a new documentary series Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on Discovery Fit and Health Network. She's none other than Kristinia Wandzilak. How are you doing, Kristinia? Welcome to the Chaos Presents.
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, this sounds like a really exciting series. Tell us what we should expect when we watch it at Tuesdays at 10 p.m.
Thank you. Addicted on Discovery Fit and Health is a docu-series on my work as a family interventionist. So it tells a story of working with families and addicts, bringing them together. You meet families in crisis around addiction. We move into intervention. What makes me different as an interventionist is that I do no surprise type of intervention. There's no ambush, nobody's caught off guard. It's not that way. It's open, it's respectful, and it's about telling the truth, essentially. So addicts and families come together for intervention. I look at how the whole family system has been affected by the disease, help both family and addict move into recovery, follow their progress in the early days of recovery, and then bring them back together for what I call aftervention, where we look at where we've come from intervention to aftervention, and how can I support the family to continue on the path of recovery moving forward. Addicted, although it might sound strange, is a series that will provide hope. It's a hopeful series, watching families get better.
Now, Kristinia, you're a wife and a mom, but you're not just the lady next door. You have some unique and painfully earned credentials. Tell us about that.
I do. So I bring to the table a wealth of information about addiction for sure. I understand addiction better than anything else, and part of that comes from being an addict myself. I am a recovering addict with 19 years recovery, consecutive sobriety. I got sober when I was 21. After living homeless, I found myself addicted to methamphetamine and cocaine by the time I was 15, 16, on the streets by the time I was 18, and lived, out there for 3 years doing whatever I had to do to survive. I robbed homes, I dug in dumpsters, I slept outside until I nearly died on the floor of a homeless shelter at the age of 21.
Well, that's an incredible story, but this is more than a show about getting sober. It's about living a healthier life too, correct?
Absolutely. Addicted and addiction, recovery from addiction is far more than just not using substances as well. It's about having a paramount shift in thinking. It's about living right and feeling good and finding peace. Addicted is a docu-series of hope. I continually say that. It's a hopeful story. They're hopeful episodes because families can get better and addicts don't have to die.
Yeah, and it's not just the addict who's hurting himself or herself, the addict's hurting all the people who love them.
Absolutely. Addiction, I believe firmly, is a family disorder. You can have one person using, but 5 or 6 people that are profoundly affected. Part of my work as a family interventionist is to help families let go of the addict and find their own peace and well-being, recovering from addiction themselves.
There's quite a list here: chemical addiction, alcohol, food addiction, gambling addiction, sex and porn and all that. Is there like a work addiction? I've met people who work 104 hours a week and just think that's great. Would you call that an addiction?
Sure. An addiction always has a life-diminishing aspect to it. People ask me all the time, is there such a thing as a healthy addiction? And there is not. Addiction always has a life-diminishing aspect to it, whether you're exercising 100 hours a week or you're working 150 hours a week. The thing is, we live in a culture that reveres those things. Yes, we live in a culture that reveres working multiple hours a day at the exclusion of family and love and health.
Sure. Kristinia, what advice can you give to somebody who's dealing with what they feel could be an addiction? They haven't quite come to the conclusion, but they think they may have an addiction. What's the first step they can take for self-help? Maybe nobody else has diagnosed them, maybe they don't have a needle in their arm, but they feel that they're addicted to something. Something's keeping them in bondage in their day-to-day living. What's your first recommendation?
To find help outside of yourself. Addiction is a disease that you can't think your way out of. So if you're in the process of thinking about whether you have it or not, the number one best thing you can do is to find a specialist that actually specializes in addiction and tell them and work with them about where you are in this disease process or not.
Can you start with something as simple as going to your health insurance company and asking them what program they have to perhaps help along these lines?
Well, sure, but even before that, before even needing a program, I would find there are people that specialize specifically in addiction, that they can sit with you and learn about your story and ask you some very important questions and help you graph, essentially, or document where you are in the stages of addiction or not. That would be a better place to start than jumping into looking for a facility or something more dramatic in that effect.
Okay, well, tell us about full circle intervention. I saw this on the chart, and I want to know a little bit more about what this is. Is this a business, a program? What is this?
Thank you. Full Circle Intervention is a practice, a private practice per se, where we provide intervention, family interventions for actually families across the country and internationally as well. We travel, we work with families, we work with treatment centers all over, helping to provide a way out.
All right, wonderful. Listen, this sounds so exciting. I can't wait to watch it. There's probably people I know that will get great benefit out of this, and it'll be interesting for me to understand more about the person suffering and actually in bondage to addiction. The series is, you ready for this, everybody? The series is Addicted. It's easy. It's on Discovery Fit and Healthness Network, Tuesday at 10 p.m. with Kristinia, and I want to get it right, Wandzilak. Is that correct?
Yes, well done.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, looking forward to the show, and thank you for joining us here in Buffalo on the Kiosk Presents.
Thank you for having me.
Last night, my wife had left me. She's never left and stayed somewhere else because of an argument.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message system. At the tone, please record your message.
Hey, give me a call when you're ready. I need to talk, okay? Talk to you later. Love you. Bye. You know what? I'm going to bed, man. There's nothing else I can do about this. So, I'm going to bed. Right now, I'm pretty fresh. I've had some much needed rest, and I understand that I pushed this. Leah just asked a question, and I created something out of nothing. I'd like to make that driveway parkable for Leah again. What's gonna make me and her be okay is the fact that I was able to pull my together and do what I was supposed to do.